This is my personal sanctuary. This is where I come to work out, go for runs. I run up that hill about 150 meters. But most of all, spiritual fitness. You know, I think sometimes we get mechanical with why we do things. You know, why we pursue our goals with fitness and everything. We come up with numbers, we come up with strategies, we come up with formulas. But I don't think that's a natural essence. I don't think that's how human beings are designed to be. I think some people struggle with discipline. I know I've struggled with discipline pretty much all my life. I didn't grow up with a lot of structure. I had to develop it on my own. I've always tried to adopt other people's systems, other people who I thought were more successful than me, but it never worked. And I think that's because you have to come up with your own natural essence and approach to life. And I think if you don't do that, you're missing out on the personal journey. It might be easier to just copy somebody more successful, but it's not the true way of a king. It's not the true way of a higher man. A higher man discovers his own purpose, his own power, through his own trials and tribulations. That's why we're built to endure, to be strong, to prosper, and to problem solve. I think it's so important to solve problems. And a lot of the time in our life, we have so many comforts and opportunities and advantages that we can decide not to struggle. And I don't blame anyone for taking that path, because the world can be a brutal, harsh, and cold place. And sometimes we just want to stay inside where it's warm. And that's okay from time to time. As much as it's important to grow yourself, it's important to love yourself too. Give your time to rest. It's a very important part of muscle growth. So of course it would also apply to spirituality. The game changer for me has been rearranging the pieces in how I view my life. I decided a little bit ago who I'm going to be, who I already am. And I realized that the way I was living wasn't aligned with that. And it's not complicated, but ever since then, I've just been trying to align myself exactly with who I am, not who I want to be. Who I want to be implies that's somewhere I have to get to. And then there's work. Then you have to have discipline. You have to get somewhere. But if you decide you're already that person, there's not much work that has to be done. It was an instant mindset change. I got up one morning and I knew who I was and I knew what I was going to do before I went and did it. So I lifted the weights, I went for a run, and there was no battle. There's always resistance when you go and do things. That's good. You want a little bit of resistance. You want to overcome that friction. You don't want everything to be easy. But it's not a battle for me anymore. When I go and I pursue my fitness, I pursue my goals, it's not a struggle, because I'm aligning with who I am. And alignment is natural and it's easy. It's what makes sense. And it's changed everything. And now, there used to be things, vices, distractions, all sorts of things that would pull me away from my purpose, but I wasn't aware of where my alignment was supposed to be. And so to me, I wasn't straying away from my purpose. But now I know what I want to do. I know who I am. And it's very simple. I align myself with where I'm going. So I don't think too much. I'm trying to reduce the thinking. Overthinking stops movement. You got to get over that, and you just got to flow. Just like a wild animal. Follow your instincts. Follow the path. Follow who you are. And now when those distractions and those vices come up, I see them for what they are. But I'm not going to lose myself, because a part of who I am is somebody who enjoys experiences and enjoys what life has to offer. So I do still indulge in vices, but I'm more aware when those things take me away from my alignment. And now it's very simple. I think my relationship with God is much stronger too. I don't really follow a religion. I consider myself very, very spiritual. I pray and I worship symbols and, you know, entities and saints that align with who my ancestors worshipped. And to me, that's just what makes sense. It's what's close to my heart. So I pray to some of the saints. I pray to St. Michael. I pray to Jesus. From indigenous culture, I pray to my ancestors, my grandmothers and my grandfathers. And now I know they're always with me wherever I go. And praying is very important. You don't have to have a specific faith. You don't have to, you know, not believe in science. You can just find the power within yourself, and it doesn't have to be mystical. If you look from the grass to the sun in the sky, there is a natural energy that connects us all together. The ecosystem, the food chain. And that to me is what God is. It's the universe that binds together. There's a natural order, there's a natural law, and there's a calling that each of us know deep inside of our souls if we just sit with ourselves. And I feel more aligned than ever. And the other thing is, we have so many distractions. You know, really ask yourself, when was the last time you just sat with your thoughts? When was the last time you just sat down and really took stock of where you were? Meditation is good, but it doesn't have to be a practice. Then it's going back to that mechanical. If you're looking at meditation as trying to get X amount of minutes a day, you're missing the purpose. The purpose is to connect with yourself, connect with a higher power, whatever that is, for whatever amount of time. And that should align you and should pull you closer to your purpose. Because everything out here has its own will and its own purpose. And if you aren't paying attention to yourself, you'll be pulled in every which direction. You'll be serving other people's wills. You need to figure out what your will is, what your purpose is, and align yourself with that. And sometimes you need to get lost to find yourself. I think a lot of my life, there was uncertainty and there was trauma. And so I learned to take paths that deliver me away from discomfort. And it's done nothing for me. Sometimes we think about what could be out there. We want to talk to somebody. We want to take an action, but we don't because we think about what other people will think about us. Or we let shame or guilt hold us back. I'm all for having a strong moral compass, but I think those are chains that bind us. We have instincts for a reason. And society is trying to socialize us to take that out of us. They don't want aggressive people. They don't want powerful people. They want people that they can take resources from. They want people that do what they're told. It's just power in politics. It's the way it is. You can get angry about it. You can think about revolution. You can go down a lot of paths. And so be it if you think that's what you want to do. But at a certain point, the world is what it is. And the sooner you accept it and find your will to power, the better things are going to be for you. Much love. Peace out.